We have arrived at week 2. This is our density lab. You have your things to do this week. Make sure you check off everything on the list. You'll need to open the density, a characteristic property. That's in Late Night Labs. You come here to where it says density. This should be visible on your screen. And you will get into Late Night Labs. The manual is over here in the corner. It's right here. We can move it down so you can see it. There we go. This is what I need you to read. This will explain what density is. It explains about measuring mass, measuring volume. You need to read that. You'll use some of that to write your background materials. The procedures are under this tab. One of the first things you're supposed to do is to take a balance from the instrument shelf. Well, this is a container shelf. It's got a graduated cylinder. Materials are here. These are the instruments. You need a balance. Pick it up and put it there, and you can use it. So those are your directions as to how to do the lab. You will be writing up your lab in Word. I've got a place on Blackboard for you to copy this, to download this document. You're to replace all the red with your own work. So under purpose, you're going to write 2 or 3 complete sentences giving the reasons for doing the lab. What are you trying to do? Since you've already read all the materials, you should be able to fill that out. The background needs to be a paragraph, a well-written paragraph that explains what density is. Make sure you answer all the questions in the background. The procedure can be fairly short. It can be bulleted, doesn't have to be complete sentences. Then, data and calculations. You will do the lab, and as you do the lab, you'll be able to fill in these this table. So the mass of the graduated cylinder goes here. The mass of the graduated cylinder does not change, unfortunately. In our program, it's not very realistic. It doesn't change. The total mass of the cylinder and the ethanol, well, as you add ethanol, the combined mass of the cylinder and the ethanol gets heavier, of course. You can find the mass of the ethanol by taking this number and subtracting off the mass of the graduated cylinder. So that will give you the mass of the ethanol. The volume of the ethanol you can read off the graduated cylinder, or if you hover your mouse over it, it will actually just tell you how much the volume is. The density will be calculated by grams over milliliters. We expect these numbers, the density of each calculation, since the object is still ethanol, we expect the density to be pretty much the same. You'll repeat the procedure with an unknown liquid. And then down here, you'll find the density of iron. So let's go over this table. The first column is for the mass of the iron. This is how much mass you're using. This column is for the starting volume of the water. It doesn't change. Each time you do the lab, you'll have the same starting volume of water. This is the final volume of the water after you've added the iron. So it'll be higher. If you subtract these 2 columns, you will get the volume of the iron. The density of the iron can be calculated by taking the grams of iron from this column and dividing by the volume of iron in this column. And that will give you the density. We expect the density of iron to be pretty much the same. The last digit might change, depending on your precision, but the number should be pretty much the same. Now you're going to create a graph of mass on the y-axis and volume on the x-axis. You can use Excel or you can use Word. Word will be just fine. Make sure that you label everything, label the axis, and give units and everything. This lab is not difficult, but I'm very picky on you using the significant figures that we learned in the previous lab. So make sure that you've got the right number of significant figures and that you're being very careful in your calculations. If the mass is given in 4 digits, make sure you record all 4 digits, even if some of them are zeros. Good luck, and contact me if you have any problems.